What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locker Room Rant. I'm your host, John V. This is my co-host, as usual, Nick.
His lovely assistant.
Nico. Say hello, Nick.
How's it going? Tony, our third, is having a little. He's having little real life issues right now, so we couldn't go on with him. But hopefully, he's back next week. So it's just going to be a duo today. Once again, we've had a couple of those. So here we are.
Tony. Tony, I hope everything's going well, brother. We're thinking about you. We wish you nothing but the best and prayers, brother. And also, I'd like to wish Tony a happy anniversary. We're thinking about you, brother. So if you're awake, chop it up with us in the comments. Either way, brother, you're here with us. So let's go, bro. Let's get right into it. Halftime show.
There's a big game that happened. We'll talk about the halftime show. The reason we bring this up is because there's a lot of hubbub about this halftime show. There's been numerous people calling it the greatest halftime show of all time. And to be honest, so it's kind of we're millennials. This is kind of a millennials hodgepodge. This is like a millennials dream. You had Eminem, you had Dr. Trey, Mary J. Blige, 50 Cent. You had a lot of the people that we grew up with in our high school and college years performing that halftime show. Snoop. I forgot about Snoop. There's a lot of people that performed there. Kendrick Lamar was a little later, but it is what it is.
50. I don't know, man. I feel like, I don't want to say he didn't fit with the old school, you know what I mean? He fits, but does he fit when it's Snoop, Mary J. Blige, Dr. Dre? You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
he certainly fits in with Eminem.
Yeah, I mean, with Eminem, naturally, right? It's all good. You know what I mean? It's all good. Outside of the performance, though, man, it was insane. I loved it. It was awesome.
I mean, we're always gonna like it, and I like it too. But I'm just saying, the best halftime show ever. I think all halftime shows are generally good because they have an unlimited amount of resources to make it good. And they're not going to pick just any Joe Schmo off the street to perform on those. They're always going to pick really great artists. And they did this time, just like they do all the other times.
Oh, this time was fire. This was the bomb. Is that Sim? Is that my man Sim? What's up, Sim? Good to see you, fam.
If I had to pick the best one that I've ever seen, it's the Prince one in Miami. But that's just my opinion.
What one was that?
It was really early. It was I want to say it was like in the early 90s sometime. But yeah, it was when he was like he brought down Purple Rain. It was pouring rain outside, and yeah, he was jamming on the guitar. That was my
Purple
favorite.
Rain.
Yep.
And what were you, 7?
I was probably about 10. And probably 8 to 10 years old, somewhere around there.
I just Indy versus Chicago. Sim says Prince was awesome. 2005.
Oh, was it that late?
2005, Nick. You said early 90s. Jesus. Right. I'm like, bro. Either way, I don't remember Prince at the halftime show.
No, you mind it. I didn't actually
that.
remember it. I don't remember watching it. I've watched videos of it, and it was sweet. So
I would this was my favorite. I
mean, for people like
before this was 2019 with Shakira. But this was awesome. This tops everything. This was amazing. I loved it, bro. It took me back. It just took me back. And I think that's the nostalgia nostalgia always takes you back, right? So
for people like us in their mid to late 30s, maybe early 40s, yeah, it's going to take you back to when you were 20. those were good times for us.
I just turned 39 this past week, so this was everything. This took me back, bro. This took me back, and it was awesome. I loved it, dude. I love Snoop coming up there. I love seeing Dr. Dre on the piano. Mary J. Blige was awesome. They still got it, bro. Allison was telling me that there's some chatter about them touring. That would be pretty amazing. That's probably a concert that I would not miss. Because if that took you back just at the halftime show, then I can't imagine what an entire tour would be. A tour would probably be fire. I mean, probably. I don't know. I don't know. She jumped for joy when he was hanging upside down, which I don't understand that whole thing. But I keep seeing memes of like people like on TikTok and on Instagram. They're like opening their refrigerator and 50's upside down. They're opening they're opening up their chicken nuggets. He's hanging upside down.
The video at some points in time, he was hanging upside down.
I don't remember it, so that was funny for me. But Michael Jackson '93 was the best, but the Cowboys were in it. So there's just to touch on it a little bit. Some of the younger generation, they weren't too thrilled with the halftime show. They really weren't crazy about it.
But you got to think about this. I know I say this a lot. That was 20 years ago. Those songs were around 20 years ago. Think of a person who was born today. They would look at that music like we looked at the Beatles.
I mean, the Beatles were awesome.
Yeah, but I'm saying, okay, Bill Haley and the Comets. You know him?
Yeah, that's right. That's where I start to care less.
Okay.
That's where you lost me, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, Allison, he was hanging upside down in the club. Okay. I don't remember it.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. But nonetheless, so they're like, yeah, that's boring. These guys are old. You know, what are they doing up there to get Mary J. Blige off the stage? Go back to whatever basement wall where you are hiding and stay there, bro. They don't know music. What's music? Today's music sucks. Today's music sucks.
I like very few things that are new.
Oh my God. When the kids are playing music, I'm just like, you think this is good music?
I basically turn into my dad. I barely like anything new.
Me too. Dude, I could care less. I'm like, who is this? They're like, this is Polo G or Polo Q. And I'm just like, not for me, bro. Not for me. Take me back to some Nas. Give me a Nas album and I'm happy.
Yeah.
So enough of the halftime show.
Let's talk about the big game now.
All right, bro. Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Rams.
So, I have to say, I might have said it before. This game, it was a good game. I'll give it that. It was a good game. It's the first time I've ever seen a Super Bowl where I don't think of the best team out of either conference made it to the Super Bowl. I don't think the Rams were the best in the NFC, and I don't think by far I don't think the Bengals were the best in the AFC.
So who do you think should have been there if you didn't think the Rams were the best team in the NFC?
I think if either the Packers or the Chiefs made it, those are the two best teams in their respective conference. The Rams had a little more of a claim, I think, to the NFC than the Bengals did to the AFC. But like I said, I didn't think either of them were the best team by far. I'm not looking at either the Bengals or the Rams as like, oh my God, they're the favorite to win next year. I don't think that's
I mean, the Rams won the division. So I mean, they won their respective division. So, that's that. The Bengals. I mean, the Bengals beat the Chiefs, bro.
They did,
and they almost beat the Rams. Aside from the fact that I know that the officials are a big part of this. I know a lot of people were pissed off with the calls because they were basically, non-existent through the entire game. And then, late, in Rams territory, or I'm sorry, in the Bengals territory, some calls went the other way. I thought they're a little bullshit, but I mean, I'm an athlete, man. I don't believe that you leave the game down to a call on the field,
Exactly.
Separate yourself with points.
It's,
just don't let it come down to that. But the Bengals also didn't score any points since the second quarter. They were non-existent on the scoreboard for 24 minutes.
That's because the Bengals, they're not a great team, but they have a lot of quick strike capability, and they just managed to get two really big plays. If you take away those two really big plays, they didn't do anything.
Okay, but the Rams didn't do anything either.
No,
the Bengals defense is not any way comparable to the Rams defense.
Yeah, I mean
not even by a landslide.
The Rams really didn't do anything until they started force feeding Cooper Kupp in that last quarter. And for some reason, he got open every single time.
He's going to.
Ridiculous.
He's done it all season. I mean, that's the guy that's going to make a play. Any way you cut it.
Yeah, but you can't target him. like you can't bracket him, do something. I mean, they used to do that to Calvin Johnson. Cooper Kupp's good. He's not Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, well, there's going to be an argument to be made if he keeps this up.
I mean, he is a good player, but he's not a physical specimen Calvin Johnson was. That's for sure.
No, I get it.
So if you bracket Calvin Johnson, you should be able to bracket Cooper Kupp.
Sim says the game showed and proved Zach Taylor needed to learn design and attack around Mixon instead of relying on Burrow so much. That's true. I don't think that Zach Taylor was in his bag or any bag of that matter. I don't think that offensively they put together enough to get it done. Some can make an argument that Zach Taylor just failed the guys, in his own way.
Listen, the Bengals should have had no business being in the Super Bowl.
I disagree.
Business sniffing the Super Bowl. There's about 6 teams in that conference that were better than the Bengals. The cards didn't fall right. There was a little bit of bad luck there, but there's about 6 teams, if some semblance of healthy, were better than the Bengals. The Bengals were lucky this year that they didn't get very many injuries. They were lucky that COVID didn't strike them at all. They were lucky that their playoff draw was unbelievable for a team that just got in the playoffs. To get that type of draw was ridiculous. I mean, the only real team that they had to beat was the Chiefs, and they did. Credit to them. They had some type of formula where their team was built that they could beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and that was the biggest, baddest team in that conference. Even though they were beatable this year, but they still were the big dog. But the Bengals had no business sniffing the Super Bowl.
I disagree.
Credit to them, but they just weren't good enough.
The Bengals were back in the mix. They tweaked their philosophy.
They were even lucky that they got the Rams in the Super Bowl, because if they played the Packers, I think the Packers smoke them.
I mean, dude, I mean, I'm with Sim. If you're in the Super Bowl, you deserve to be there. You beat the teams that you needed to beat to be there.
Listen, no crap. I'm not trying to.
And you're bitter as shit because that's a division opponent for you and the Browns. So you're bitter and you're pissed, and I get it. That's fine.
Because the Browns are better. That's why.
But they weren't.
They were. They absolutely were.
Maybe on paper, but I mean, it never translated into the regular season.
On paper and in regular, the Browns had so much going against them this year. The fact that they only were 2 games behind the Bengals is ridiculous. First of all, they had a massive COVID bite, which basically killed.
So who didn't? Who didn't?
The Bengals. The Bengals didn't.
Well, you know what? They managed to.
The San Francisco 49ers didn't have a big.
We were struck by COVID a few times.
Who? How many of you guys were out?
We cleared. I can't remember.
The Browns
Sam, help me out. I can't remember.
The Browns had multiple starters out for 2-3 weeks because of COVID. Well, I mean, when I'm talking multiple starters, I'm talking like half the team.
Did you win?
No, of course not. How are we going to win when we have half our team? Nick Mullins was our quarterback for 1 game, and we almost won that game. We should have won.
Nick Mullins should have won that game, but because you guys wanted to keep him on a short leash, you guys didn't let him throw the ball until late in the fourth quarter, and it was already too late. You guys didn't let him establish himself early on in the game.
We would have just if Joe Woods wouldn't have played prevent defense and let Derek Carr pass all over us and get to kick a field goal, to kick a 50-yard field goal and win it, we would have won that game. If our field goal kicker could make extra points, we would have won that game. You know, I mean, we had a lot.
I do remember the Browns getting struck. I do remember it being it decimated the roster for a minute.
Say what you want about Baker Mayfield. Say whether or not you think he's a good quarterback or not. Playing with one shoulder kind of sucks.
That's trash. That's on Stefanski. He had Case Keenum sitting pretty on the bench. That's on him. That's bullshit.
That, but a healthy Case Keenum is not as good as a healthy Baker Mayfield. I
like Case Keenum better than Baker. I'm not a Baker fan.
Even if you think that Case Keenum is not at very best.
I saw Case Keenum this past season put the team on his back and win a game.
Yeah, it was against the crappy Denver Broncos.
Crappy or not, it still came down to the wire.
And I agree with you; he should have played more, but I don't think he's better than healthy Baker.
We were clear on COVID. Sam, thank you, bro. I couldn't remember, to be honest with you. I knew a couple of guys needed to get some negative tests in there, and they did towards the end of the stretch. He said maybe Jimmy Ward, but whatever. All right, fair enough. I'll give you that. But I mean, dude,
if the Browns had
but overcome that. Then overcome it.
If the Browns had half the bad luck they had this year, they would have been in the playoffs.
What's up, 49ers Chanel? Thanks for joining us.
And they probably would have won the division. That's how close it was.
But you didn't win it. Like, you didn't win the games that were needed to be won.
Yeah,
you didn't.
I agree.
You didn't beat the Steelers.
They also dropped the ball too. But we also had a tremendous amount of bad luck. We were better than Bengals.
I just don't think so.
Yeah.
Because if you were, you would have made the playoffs.
Because the Bengals don't have a good defense. Tremendous holes in that defense. When I'm talking tremendous holes, I'm not talking about they have a good defense overall, but they have massive holes. That's why Cooper Kupp was able to get open every single time.
Dude, Cooper Kupp is going to get open. He's going to give the defense fits. He's just good.
Cooper Kupp ain't going to be able to do what he did against Denzel Ward.
Bullshit. That's bullshit, and you know it. That's bullshit.
Jamar Chase lit everyone up too. What happened when he faced Denzel Ward? Didn't light up Denzel
you
Ward.
Guys, you beat them. You beat them.
We crushed the fuck out of them.
At Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You did beat them at home.
Yeah,
but you didn't beat the teams you needed to beat to get there.
Listen, like I said, we had a lot of bad luck and we dropped the ball in certain areas. I'm not gonna discount that they dropped the ball. But if they had half the bad luck, they would have won 10 games. And even half the bad luck was a lot of bad luck. I'm talking just take
Symmetry's got Cooper Kupp as elite. He's got him as elite, and he's lighting up Ramsey in practice. And I'll tell you something. You know, there was a little bit of film where I believe it was Chase. I believe he was open running down the sideline. I think Ramsey actually tripped up and fell, and he was open on that final drive where Aaron Donald sacked Joe Burrow. And I'll tell you something, man. I didn't know that Joe Burrow sprained his MCL. I did not know that. So over here, I'm like, yo, move your ass out of the pocket, bro. Run. He wasn't moving. I mean, I was like, yo, is that what you want? Is that how you want to leave the Super Bowl? You want to stand still in the pocket like that? And I get it. I just thought maybe Joe Burrow should have moved a little bit. Maybe that MCL was acting up. I mean, it probably was, and it prevented him from getting out of the pocket and trying to make a play. But I think Cooper Kupp's elite, bro. I'll agree with Sim. I think there's not too many people in the league that are going to stop this guy. Cooper Kupp averages 8 receptions and 110 yards a game. It doesn't matter who you put on him.
A lot of people say that when Denzel Ward's on him.
Dude, you're talking about one instance where Denzel Ward locked him up.
Denzel Ward locked people
We kept Cooper Kupp at bay. We limited him, but I mean, I don't think that anybody shuts him down. You might have had your game, but I mean, again, the Browns didn't utilize that strength and make it to the playoffs. You can blame the COVID stretch. You can blame Baker Mayfield's shoulder. That's on Stefanski. He should have benched his ass and used Case Keenum because Keenum was serviceable. He could have won you the games that Baker lost. Mm-hmm. I believe that. I will always believe that.
I agree with that as well.
Because some of the games that Baker lost, you guys were in. And he was getting out of the pocket. He was trying to make something happen. And what happened? He took the sack. He did it often.
But
I'm not going to sit there and sit behind that shoulder. I'm not going to buy that shit.
There's no doubt in my mind that half the bad luck, which is a tremendous amount of bad luck, the Browns don't make the playoffs. Actually, even win the division over the Bengals because we had the tiebreaker. There's no doubt that they win 10 games instead of 8.
But they did.
Yeah. Obviously.
You after the COVID, you guys had an opportunity to make up for it.
No, we didn't.
Why not?
Because we had COVID.
You couldn't win out?
No, we had COVID for like two straight weeks. After we were basically cleared from COVID, that was essentially when we had to play the Steelers, and since the Bengals beat the Chiefs, it was practically it was over. The Browns got eliminated.
There were some implications that there were some situations that could have helped you guys, but I think you lost that Pittsburgh game.
If the Bengals lost against the Chiefs, then we would have had to have won out and we would have won the division.
Yeah, because Baltimore was struggling with injury. So
Baltimore already had lost to the Rams at the time, or maybe they were still either way. But
Sim says that Cincinnati should have ran more. You should have ran the ball more.
Here's the thing. A lot of people are loving Mixon. They think that Mixon's been in the league for a while, man. We know what Mixon is. Mixon's a good running back. He ain't elite.
I think in Zach Taylor's offense, we saw a lot more Joe Mixon than we did prior.
You saw.
I think that this system coming from the McVay coaching tree. I think that you saw. I think, in my opinion, I saw a better Mixon than in years past.
No, you saw a Mixon that actually had a little bit of free lanes to run through because the passing game was so dominant. And Mixon is a good running back, and he can take advantage of that. But he's not an elite running back by any means.
That offensive line is hot garbage, bro.
Yeah, you can't be great at everything.
No, but I mean, Jesus, fair enough. Sim says you shut down elite wide receivers by getting after their QB.
I thoroughly believe that. For some reason, you know who doesn't believe that? Joe freaking Woods.
See, I think Joe Woods, I tried to defend him through the early parts of the season. Did they move on from Joe Woods? Did Cleveland get rid of him?
He's still there. I don't think they're even talking about getting rid of him.
I mean, he deserves another shot. I mean, this was his first year as a defensive coordinator.
No, it was
second year. I'm sorry. I always say that. Why do I say that?
I don't know.
It was his second year.
It's like people don't get it. It's like people don't watch other games. It's like people that are in charge of this shit. They just don't watch other games. They don't watch other teams play. They don't happen to watch the Steelers play with mediocre talent. Mediocre. I'm talking mediocre talent the Steelers have. And yet, for some reason, their defense is always good because they put pressure on the quarterback. It's like I'm living in a fucking bizarro world when I fucking see that. Like, you have to put pressure on the quarterback if you want any semblance of success.
They don't have a pass rusher. They don't have a pass rusher that was lights out.
Who? The Browns?
The Steelers? A Watt brother?
Yeah. No, well, I got news for you. Watt, TJ? He's not that great. He's good.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
When they put pressure from all angles, yeah, TJ Watt's going to be able to get open. I'm not taking anything away from him. He's not bad. He's very good. But he's nowhere close. He's nowhere close to being the type of pass rusher Myles Garrett is. Nowhere close.
Did Myles Garrett beat or top a record this year?
No.
Strahan's record?
No.
Who did he tie with Strahan or did he beat it?
What? He tied.
Yeah.
It was an extra game, but he tied.
You don't think that was work?
I don't think that was work.
You don't take that. You took that as he's not that great.
I'm not taking anything. Well, I guess I might be taking something away from the guy.
You're taking a lot away.
I will admit that he's a good player. I'll admit that he's probably above good, but he's not great.
He's fucking great. He's great. He has a chance to be an elite pass rusher in this league, Nick.
If you put TJ Watt on the Browns and have them run the Browns' stupid fucking defense that Joe Woods puts in place, TJ Watt would have 8 sacks. If you put Myles Garrett on the Steelers and have Myles Garrett run in the way the Steelers run their defense, Myles Garrett would have 30 sacks.
All right, hold on a minute. I'm getting behind in the comments here. Sim says, but nobody could shut down an elite receiver all one-on-one in all game. No, I agree with that. He wants to know. So are we saying 2 weeks is what ruined the Browns season?
It had a big part in it.
So you couldn't have bounced back from your COVID stint there?
No, you couldn't have bounced back from that.
You couldn't win out. You couldn't beat the Steelers.
It didn't matter if we beat the Steelers. We were already eliminated by the time that game started.
What week did COVID strike the Browns? What week was it detrimental? Was that week?
COVID hit the Browns right at
like 12?
Right
week 12? Week 13?
COVID struck the Browns right in the Oakland game.
So the Browns went 15-2. Look, you look at that, you find out what weeks, and I want to know you look it up, and I'm gonna read through the comments here. Sim says he wouldn't say Mixon is elite either, but there's maybe 4 elite running backs in the league. The rest you can still work with. I believe that. He says that Watt's season was more impressive than Strahan's. Strahan's record season was like 6 gimme ass fake sacks.
Okay. Do we have a compilation of JJ Watt sacks?
Dude, JJ Watt was TJ Watt. Will you stop saying JJ? TJ Watt was fucking awesome.
JJ Watt's actually an elite player, Hall of Fame player, elite player going down in history as a dominant player. TJ Watt is a product.
He could also go down as one of the most injured, because I mean, when you say JJ Watt, I immediately think this guy was consistently injured. I don't think this dude put together a complete season. Jesus, I don't even think he put together a complete season.
So anyway,
for a long time.
To answer your question, the Browns just got done beating the beating the Ravens. It looked like they were turning their season around. All of a sudden, week 15, they get hampered by the COVID bug, and that's when they lost to the Raiders. Then week 16, we're playing shorthanded.
Hold on. That Raiders game, hold on a minute. That Raiders game was the game that Nick Mullins played in.
Yes.
And that was the game where I kept saying to you, was Stefanski out that game also?
He may have been. I think he was.
Yes, he was. I know he was. Yes, Stefanski was out that game. But I said to you early on, they need to let Nick Mullins throw the ball.
John,
I said it time and time again.
It wasn't just that. There was 1,000 people injured. There was 1,000 people out for COVID that game. There was like 10, 13 players out. Half our offensive line was out. But our receivers were out.
Next man up, dude. There's a 54 man roster.
Next man up bullshit. Why did the 49ers make the playoffs last year then? With your next man up bullshit.
Hey, we almost did.
They sucked that year. It didn't matter that. It didn't matter that they had the most money and injuries in history, like you say.
Dude, we were injured.
Sometimes when you get injured so much, you just can't do shit about it. And you lose.
Yeah, but those were winnable games. They were just poorly executed. Some by the defensive coordinator, some by the offensive coordinator.
I got news for you. The Raiders fucking suck. And a half-healthy team and a half-healthy Browns team would have fucking kicked the shit out of the Raiders. Okay?
Yeah, but you didn't. And they had a better record than you.
Because we were totally injured. Our team was in fucking shambles because of COVID.
Okay. I mean, at the end of it all, Bay Area Baller, what's up, fam? Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate you coming in here, man.
Then we almost beat the Packers with a COVID short team. And then all of a sudden, right before the Steelers game, we get eliminated from the playoffs. I still say you play hard, but I can't help but think that maybe the win was set out of their sails a little bit that game. Because they knew they had no shot at the playoffs.
Are we still talking about the Raiders game?
No, we're talking about right before the Steelers game, when the Bengals knocked off the Chiefs and basically cinched up the division and eliminated the Browns.
All right. Let's just talk about let's get back on track here. All right. When you say that the Browns are better than the Bengals.
Yes.
So all right, let me ask you this. Moving forward into next season, do you think you're gonna beat them twice?
Absolutely. Okay. There's no doubt in my mind, with the exception of bullshit injuries like we had. but I don't think it's going to happen twice. So,
you don't think that the Bengals are going to bolster up that offensive line in the offseason? Free agency?
I mean, even if they do, they still have massive holes elsewhere. Holes that the Browns don't have.
Nick Mullins has a crazy stat where he's up there with Mahomes in yards. That's insane. That's insane.
But yeah, no, I think the Browns are going to be better than the Bengals next year.
Sim says nobody gave the Niners any slack last year. Look, last year was a disaster, but you know what? I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to cry and hide behind, my Niners have battled since 2019. They battled injuries. We started the season 3-5. We were in the NFC Championship game and we lost, because Jimmy couldn't get us downfield to at least give us an opportunity to tie it up. Bay Area Baller says, I just listened to 5 minutes of you guys and decided I needed a shot. Man, I'll tell you. This Crown Royal Peach Tea, it's pretty impressive. I very much like this. Not bad. It's got a little kick. Nick, I'm very curious to see how the Browns fare next year. You and I both discussed Baker Mayfield, and we shared our thoughts, and I think we both agree that Baker might not be it. It just might not be it.
I mean, chances are he's going to be the quarterback next year. I'd like to see them I'd love to see them bring in an elite quarterback, and then you can say fuck Baker. But if that doesn't happen, chances are Baker's going to be back. I'd like to see them at least get some type of competition for him. So get somebody who you think can be a starter and have Baker have to beat him out. Otherwise, that guy's the starter.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you think they're going to revisit Baker, his contract, right? That was a big deal here at the end of the season.
They ain't revisiting shit this year.
So are they going to tag him?
They don't have to tag him. He's still under contract for 1 year.
I think what I was thinking about was they wanted to give Baker a big contract, right?
They did. I don't think they do anymore.
You think that's off the table?
For right now. Maybe if he balls out next year, then you can give him the contract.
Okay. Barry Baller says he threw $50 on Brown's futures bet, but it didn't go well because the roster looked good on paper. The roster did look good on paper. And I think that's what sold a lot of people on the Browns. Before the season started, I think the Browns and the 49ers were plus 1,500, and they were Super Bowl. They were talking about the Browns and the Niners as the Super Bowl opportunities, right? So only one of the two were honestly a game away. I'm going to be honest with you, dude. I think the Browns next year win maybe 8-10 games. I would like to say that I think that I had them winning 11 or 12 games before the season started. I'll have to go back and look, but yeah, that's it, man. Honestly, Baker played the whole year with a fucked up shoulder, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's on Stefanski. And we'll say this over and over again ad nauseum. Like, you had Case Keenum that you should have played in games that mattered. I mean, there was a chance,
Like, you pay Case Keenum for a reason. Like, Case Keenum is a premium backup. Like, you pay him the money you pay him for a reason. Otherwise, yes, you can get a fucking just a rando backup quarterback. You can have Nick Mullins as your quarterback. You pay him $750,000 a year. You don't have to pay Case Keenum fucking, I don't know how much you pay him, like $3-4 a year.
The point is that Case Keenum's opportunity, that's why you have Case Keenum. If there's an injury like this, a shoulder injury to Baker, whether it's his throwing shoulder or throwing arm or not, he's hurt. he is not 100. Fuck, he's not even 80%.
Mhm.
You know, Baker. I've seen Baker healthy, and I don't know, man. I really think Stefanski hurt you guys at some point in the season.
Oh,
Dude.
yeah, absolutely did. Stefanski was an idiot this year. Stefanski was a fucking idiot this year. And like I think he needs to be on the fucking hot seat. Give him one more year, clean up your fucking act, quit being a shithead, and maybe
I don't agree with the hot seat, Nick. You guys can't just keep running through coaches, bro. Stefanski works. He just needs
the stuff that he did this year. There's no excuse for. First of all, going for it on fourth down a billion times, especially when you don't have that much success at it. Like, I can see if you were really a really good fourth down converting team, but after like the third, fourth time you don't fucking do it, just kick a fucking field goal. You got to have points on the board. We lost a lot of games because Stefanski went for it, and then we ended up losing by 3 points. On top of that, don't play a hurt Baker. You have Case Keenum for a reason. Okay? You have Case Keenum for a freaking reason.
Yeah.
All right? You pay him the money for a reason. If there's something that happens to Baker, you can put him in, and he's a stopgap solution. Yes, you're not going to be as explosive as if you have Baker's arm. We understand that. But you still have stability at the quarterback position from a guy who knows how to quarterback the game. On top of that, even when he had Baker Mayfield in, for some reason he stopped playing to Baker Mayfield's strengths. Baker Mayfield is a play-action quarterback. He can't stay in the pocket like freaking Justin Herbert. He's not a 6'5" guy. He's not a 6'4" guy. He's a short guy. He needs to get out of the pocket. That's where he succeeds. Okay?
Do you think
year.
that
I don't know why they didn't do it this year.
Do you think that Baker's size hurt him this year? Well, do you think Baker's size hurts him?
Baker's size hurt him
moving
because
forward?
They didn't play him right. Like, he's not a pocket quarterback. You can't expect a pocket quarterback to be successful. They're not pocket quarterback to be successful. Russell Wilson isn't successful as a pocket quarterback. If you force him to play out of the pocket, guess what? He's gonna suck. But if you move him around, then Russell Wilson is successful. Baker Mayfield could be successful if you play him that way. They did last year, and they were successful at it. I don't know what got into his head and say, you know what? Fuck that. We don't like going to the playoffs. We don't like being successful. We don't like keeping our quarterback upright. We'll just fucking have him stay in the pocket and get killed.
No. I think you guys need, maybe a better offensive line coach, maybe a better offensive coordinator.
We have a Hall of Fame offensive line coach. You know how I tell you that often that the running backs coach or wide receivers coach doesn't matter? In one case, it does. When you have Bill Callahan as your offensive line coach.
All right, fair point. That's fair. I'm just trying to put together. The Browns on paper were impressive. I mean, your running back room is phenomenal. Yeah. You got Dearness Johnson tearing it up when Chubb couldn't be there. Okay.
Dearness Johnson's good, and I do believe that he should have got more playing time than he did. It would have took a little bit of the strain off Chubb and Hunt, but he ain't no Chubb and Hunt.
All right, bro, relax. I mean, he's got time, and he proved himself pretty reliable.
He ain't no Chubb and Hunt. He's not as explosive as Chubb and Hunt are.
I think it's arguable that Dearness Johnson can be as good or better than Hunt.
No, he can't. Hunt's
why?
The best in the league.
Okay. I mean, Bay Area Baller says he's more entertained by us than some folks with 10,000 subs. Keep grinding. Bro, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. I really do, man. We're actually down a guy tonight, but I'm glad to have you here, man. Thank you so much.
Bay Area Baller, if you've listened to the show long enough, you know how I feel about Joe Woods. And I don't like him.
Yeah, he was our secondary coach. He was a secondary coach, and he's doing his part. I think he could do better. He's not quite on the hot seat yet, but I think he could do better. All right, so let's move on from this Browns talk, bro. You're giving me a headache. So is Trey Lance ready? This has been a topic that has been, for my 49ers and for Bay Area Ballers 49ers and Sims Niners, we've been listening to this Trey Lance talk since we moved up to 3 to take him. Is Dearness Johnson a free agent?
I think he probably is.
Oh my God. Jesus. My God, that would be phenomenal. Oh, he could be amazing in the system. But going back to, is Trey Lance ready? So, you and Tony have harassed me for about the entire season about Jimmy G and Trey Lance and the quarterback controversy that plagued this team. Moving on,
which I told you it would.
Yes, you were right. And I will give you credit. I will give you credit where it's due. You said that a quarterback controversy is fucking toxic. It's no good. It only causes problems. And I saw those problems. I saw a Shanahan offense kind of struggling to try to utilize a dual quarterback threat. And I think he got ahead of himself. And I think a lot of 49er fans kind of had expectations of seeing Trey Lance sprinkled in. And God knows that I wanted Trey Lance at certain points where I thought that, we should have resorted to Trey Lance, especially in the Tennessee game versus the Titans. I thought, Jesus Christ, dude, this is terrible. Jimmy's screwing this up, bro. And losing that game potentially made our path to the playoffs even harder. Made everything harder for us. But is Trey Lance ready? And I got to be honest, man. Hold on. Let me take a second here. Bay Area Baller says he wants Dearness or Justin Jackson in free agency. Dude, Justin Jackson would be phenomenal. Dearness would be awesome. I think Dearness would be cheaper for us. But, I don't know.
I don't think either of them would be a ton of money.
I guess they'd probably be pretty much.
I don't necessarily know if San Diego is going to be willing to let go of Jackson. I think you probably get Dearness. I don't think the Browns are going to keep him.
Well, I mean, Lynn is here now from San Diego.
Yeah.
He's now our assistant to Shanahan. So, I think there's a connection there for Justin Jackson. And there's an argument to be made. But I mean, we still got Mostert. We still got to figure out where he fits in. Where if he returns. I hope he doesn't join McDaniel in Miami. But that's a conversation for a little bit. I'll get back to this Trey Lance situation. So I ask you, Nick, is Trey Lance ready to take the reins?
He's asking me if Trey Lance is ready. Well, we'll dissect it a little bit. But I'm curious. I want your opinion. He better be fucking ready. So here's the thing: early on when I told you that this was a bad news situation, and that them trading capital to trade up and get an unproven, pretty raw quarterback was a terrible move because of exactly what this would happen. I'm not just talking about last year. This is going to fall. There's only one remedy to cure that ailment, and that's Trey Lance being as good as you guys thought he was going to be. If he becomes that good, all's done. You don't have to worry about it. Nobody cares. Everyone's happy.
Okay.
If you guys don't do as good with Trey Lance as you guys did with Jimmy Garoppolo, that's where this will follow you for fucking years. Maybe decades. Okay?
Relax, dude. The kid's talented, bro. I mean, you're taking away his development. You're just telling me that he has to come in here and he has to blow the barn doors open, bro.
Yeah, he does. I don't think I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. But I know fans. I know the Browns are some of the most ruckus fans of all time, and the 49ers fans are also a very ruckus group themselves. And if they get a full season of Trey Lance and they don't get to the NFC Championship game, if they don't get to pass the first round of the playoffs, God
Jerry, what's up, fam?
Make the playoffs and they get a whole year of Trey Lance. You're going to hear people call for people's heads. They're going to be like, why did we give up this much to get this guy when we had fucking Jimmy Garoppolo and he was making us the playoffs and we could have got draft picks that would have helped us and would have improved the team? And then you're going to have that talk. It's not me talking.
No, the talking has been going on all season, bro.
This is what's going to happen.
Listen, the Jimmy fans are out there. Look, I told you this, and I'm going to say this again. What Jimmy did, Trey could probably do just as well. Do you understand? At the very least. At the very least. Jimmy didn't blow the barn doors open either.
I've always said you discount what Jimmy G does. You think what Jimmy G does is so easy, and I'm telling you it's not.
Wait, you say this, you say that with the ignorance that he knows the system. He knows Shanahan's offense.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what separates Jimmy from Trey. Jimmy's an 8-year veteran
but you gotta
with 2 full seasons under his belt.
You gotta understand something. While Jimmy doesn't have the prowess, like a lot of people say he can't do it, he can do it. While his main thing, the thing that makes Jimmy G is not being able to throw the ball down the field, he's very great at short to intermediate passes. For some reason, people discount the difficulty of doing a short to intermediate pass. There's a lot of quarterbacks in the league. There's a lot of starting quarterbacks in the league that struggle at throwing short to intermediate passes.
Why? But why though? Maybe it's the personnel. Maybe they don't have the tight ends. Maybe they don't have the receivers. Maybe they don't have the offensive line. Nick, they don't have pass catching backs.
Some quarterbacks don't have the touch to do it. It's
okay.
It's a skill set in its own. Just like throwing a deep pass is a skill set, throwing short to intermediate passes is a skill set. And some quarterbacks don't have it. Does Trey Lance have it? I don't know. I haven't seen enough of him to judge that yet. But a lot of people discount what Jimmy G does because it's just throwing short to intermediate passes, and they think anyone can do it. Not anyone.
Yeah, no.
Matter of fact, a lot of people have problems doing it. Hold
on a minute. A lot of people are on on Jimmy because of some of the careless throws that he makes, and it's something that you grow accustomed to. I don't like that he throws into double coverage. I don't like that he throws into triple coverage. I don't like that he throws. He makes boneheaded throws where the linebackers are there. They're often just looking straight at him, making eye contact. But I mean, Trey brings a dynamic that Jimmy doesn't, and that's he's got mobility, and he can throw on the run. And when Jimmy throws on the run, it's usually a disaster. Now Jerry says his take on QB draft busts every year. No rhyme or reason on how to find a good one. I hope Trey is good, but nervous for the future. And that's fair. And he has every reason to feel that way. But I would say that as long as Jerry, I would say that, Nick, Jimmy's deficiencies, that short intermediate stuff that you're holding so casually, like it gets difficult when teams don't respect you. They don't play you respectively. So when their coverage focuses on the middle of the field, and they know Jimmy's going to go to the middle of the field because they know he rarely can throw outside the numbers, They know he's not going to take shots downfield. So they're just going to force you to throw the ball.
So John, there are few quarterbacks in the league at any particular year that have it all. There are few quarterbacks that have it all. Okay? Most of the time, and even a lot of the successful ones don't have it all. But they're really good at one thing. Okay? And they just have to make that one thing work. And Jimmy makes the short intermediate passing work. There have been big guys with big arms and great mobility that have gotten drafted high and they busted. Actually, a lot of them bust. Because that doesn't make you a good quarterback.
But the system here does. The system here reflects the quarterback. The system is designed to the run opens up the passing game in this offense.
Okay.
So we dominate on the running portion, but we're limited at the quarterback position.
But either way, the quarterback still has to be good. And good just doesn't mean talent. There's a guy back in the day. I forget exactly what, I think it was Rob Johnson or something. He was like the specimen of a quarterback. He was like 6'3", 6'4". He had really great mobility, like Steve Young type mobility, and he could throw the ball a billion yards down the field. Sucked. Jeff George was a fantastic, one of the most hyped quarterback prospects in our lifetime. Not really that good. Didn't turn out that great. Okay? Rick Meyer was a great quarterback prospect.
Who are the coaches, Nick? What was the system? Who are the receivers, bro? Listen, dude. Listen to yourself. You're saying that Trey Lance can't dink and dunk like Jimmy.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I said I don't know if he can.
I'm pretty sure he could.
I haven't. That's the thing. You're discounting the skill set is what I'm saying. You just think that that's easier. Fact of the matter is, the NFL is full of guys that can launch the ball down the field.
Brother, the West Coast offense is a dink and dunk offense. It was systematically designed for a weak quarterback at the time that it was born, bro. When the West Coast offense was born, it was born because of a weak quarterback.
Dan Fouts had a huge arm. Dan Fouts was.
I'm talking about when Walsh. I'm talking about when Walsh implemented this in Cincinnati with I don't even remember the quarterback's name. I can't remember it for now. But nonetheless, I'm trying to tell you that I believe that Trey Lance, at a minimum, can do what Jimmy does. I believe that.
That's true. I'm not saying he can't, but I don't believe that that's a given like you believe it is.
I mean, I'm believing that my head coach took and invested all that capital into a guy that has talent, and they want to develop, and they want him. They believe that they can succeed with Trey Lance. I think people owe it to Trey Lance. I don't think that the pressure of a Super Bowl appearance should be weighing on his shoulders.
Let me put it this way. If Trey Lance can run the dink and dunk offense as good as Jimmy Garoppolo can and has the rest of the tools, you guys are in great hands. The future is bright. But
Nick, I'm saying dink and dunk because that the limitations that Jimmy has force him and force Kyle to dink and dunk. He doesn't have elite traits. He's not a Josh Allen. He doesn't have that skill set. So he has to dink and dunk to move the chains and to extend the drive, right?
Yes.
I'm falling behind in the comments again. Most Niner fans know Lance is young and isn't going to be an overnight sensation, but there is a small minority that expect him to be Mahomes level. And I agree with that. I believe with that comment. There are a lot of people that believe that he should be equivalent to Mahomes' talent. Jerry says, I believe midfield passes were designed not because of Jimmy. It did help him because it's Kyle's design. Keeps the defense fresh and elite. Symmetry says that's not our game. Kyle's system isn't dink and dunk. It's not a traditional West Coast offense. We run intermediate routes and play action deep shots off heavy zone rushing attack. Trey Lance won't need to dink and dunk if he's hitting Ayuk and Kittle 15 yards downfield. But we never been a dink and dunk team, not with Kyle. Okay, so I stand corrected. Nonetheless, I still believe that Trey gives us.
I think the 49ers do run a somewhat of a dink and dunk. Not every pass is going to be dink and dunk, but they run somewhat of a dink and dunk offense. When I say dink and dunk, I mean there's quite a few passes behind the line of scrimmage. There's quite a few passes,
slants,
5
screens,
to 10 yards over the middle. There's some quick outs. There's a whole bunch of this short stuff. Yes, not every pass is going to be short. Otherwise, there would be no safeties. They just all be up.
Yes, but that's my point. That's my point. Jimmy's limitations force him to do those screens and those passes to Debo behind the line of scrimmage.
Some of these throws are scripted. Like these throws to Debo behind the line of scrimmage are scripted. There's blocking schemes that apply to him. That's why Debo can get free all the time from him. And Debo's great at it, so it works.
It works for now, but I mean, we can't expect a guy to take on that kind of contact and expect him to have the career that he should. I mean, we need to start using Debo as a wide receiver, more of a wide receiver than a running back.
But the thing is, your Debo's not a great wide receiver. He's a great football player. I've told you this before many times. He's not the type of guy that's going to go out and get balls.
Why not?
Does he have the ability to do it? Yeah, a little bit.
Sure he does.
But he doesn't have the ability to do it as like a Jamar Chase does. He doesn't have that type of ability. Like those guys go up and get the ball.
Those guys are burners.
Debo gets open to get the ball.
What's wrong with that?
And Debo, when he gets the ball, he makes people miss. I'm talking about a receiver just going and getting balls. They're thrown to him. It doesn't matter if there's coverage on him. He's going to go grab it. He's coming down with it. I don't think he has that elite skill. But I do think he's very good at getting open. I do think he's very good at yak. That's where he makes his money.
Symmetry, would you say, Sim says it's something we've run in most recent games, but it's not the base of Kyle's system. Would you say that we haven't seen the base of Kyle's system yet because of Jimmy's limitations?
Literally every 49er, and I've watched a ton of them because of this guy right next to me, every 49ers game I've ever seen runs the same system that Kyle Shanahan's coached.
What? You're saying? I agree with Sim, dude. I've seen Debo go up and contest catches. I've seen him pull him in double coverage. I mean, the fact that you're saying he's not a great wide receiver when many people, I mean, outside of this conversation, Debo is a great football player and he is a great wide receiver. I think you have this misconstrued.
I don't think he has great wide receiver skills. I think he's one of the best football players in the league, but I don't think he has great wide receiver skills. When you use him as a utility knife, he's amazing. Like sometimes I'm wild watching him, but as far as pure wide receiver skills, I don't think he has pure number one receiver wide receiver skills.
I disagree with that. I can't. I don't. Debo should be used as a running back. Should not be used as a running back. Debo has explosive speed to go get the ball. I agree with Jerry on that. And I agree with Sim. Like Nick, I mean, Debo has shown us that he is pretty fucking amazing. And
Yeah, but
I think we could see
he makes his bread on the other plays, and makes his bread on wide receiver stuff.
Symmetry says, I think Kyle wants to run a system close to what we saw with Matt Ryan in 2016 with the addition of what he ran with RG3. So he went out, he got a mobile quarterback with a good arm. And this may be what Symmetry's talking about. He may be trying to run it back with a system that he ran with Matt Ryan.
Either way, here's all I'm saying. Either way, your fan base is not going to take kindly if they fall back. They're just not going to take kindly to it.
Fall back. I mean, a lot of these guys have spoke highly on Trey Lance.
Listen, they're not going to. First of all, they're not going to badmouth Trey Lance, and maybe they don't have a reason to badmouth Trey Lance. Maybe Trey Lance is better. I don't know.
Is this what you're referring to? Symmetry saying Debo isn't a great route runner. Is that what you mean?
No, I'm not. I don't mean that at all. I mean, if he's with a number one cornerback, I don't know if he beats the number one cornerback in terms of just route running and getting contested balls.
Well, that's what we're saying to you. We're saying we don't think that he's an elite route runner.
But even route running, like even if you were to run like a straight route, like and there's a jump ball, I don't have 100% confidence that Deebo Samuel's coming down with the ball.
Oh, I do, and he did that a number of times. You missed those games.
I'm not saying he hasn't done it ever.
Nick, he's gone up and he's made contested catches. Some were fucking impressive. So let's just kill that narrative. All right, because that's nonsense.
I watch just about every 49ers game.
That's why you're a Browns fan.
I think there's a lot of players that have better wide receiver skills than him. But
Sim says he has great hands and he can make tough contested catches. And I agree with that. Jerry says too many whiners in the fan base. As soon as Trey has struggles, fans are going to talk. We need to trust the process. Trey with Kyle can be elite. That's true, Jerry. And you know, the fan base lacks patience. It's something that isn't going to come easy for Trey. The pressure's on Trey, and the pressure's on Kyle too. I think there may be more pressure on Kyle than Trey. As a coach, I think the fans are gonna be hard on Trey. But I said it before, and I'll say it again. I believe that I lost the Super Bowl with Jimmy. We lost an NFC Championship with Jimmy, and I'm ready to take my bumps and my bruises with Trey. I'm ready to see where he goes, and I believe the next few seasons are going to be amazing. And I believe that, that Trey is going to study his ass off, and I believe he wants this, and he wants it bad. And I think there's going to be some hell to pay for everybody that doubted Trey. I really believe that because he is unique in some ways, and it's something that this fan base and this franchise haven't had in many years since Kaepernick. And I believe that Trey is a far better football player than Kaepernick. Not taking anything away from Cap, because we had some downtime since he was gone, but I believe that there are flashes from Trey that are very familiar to me when Cap tuck it and ran it in, and I've seen some flashes of Trey that remind me of it. Sim says, okay, running routes is different versus man and zone. Debo isn't great versus man, but versus zone, he's great. And I think, Nick, you would agree with Sim on that. That you do believe that Debo's great.
I'm watching a highlight video of Deebo Samuel right now. I haven't seen one catch where it's been contested against another against another defender.
Guy, I want to punch you in the face so bad right now.
I mean, it would be on there if you would have made it.
Sim says that's why we have a good tandem. Debo is great versus zone coverage, and Ayuk excels versus man.
I'm just saying.
Would you say? I'm asking you if you agree with symmetry in the sense that he says Debo isn't great versus man, but he's great. But versus zone, he's great.
I mean, I could see where that would be because in zone the defender has to guard the zone. They're not guarding the player. So Debo is able to get in the nicks and crevices of the defense.
Yeah. That's where you credit him as being a great football player.
The problem is, and I'm gonna disagree with you on this. I don't think Brandon Ayuk's great at anything. I think Brandon Ayuk's a very average receiver.
Jerry says you can find plenty of footage in 2019.
And an average football player. And he's not. There's a difference. I think Debo has average. I think Debo has average receiver skills, but he's a great football player. Brandon Ayuk has average receiver skills and is an average football player.
Yeah, I think you're discrediting my guy Ayuk a little bit there, bro. I don't think you're you're a little off, bro. And Sim didn't say Ayuk was great either, but he's just saying that one versus man and one is great in zone. And I agree.
Ayuk, his exact words were Ayuk excels versus man. No, he doesn't.
You're an asshole.
Ayuk is average versus man because Ayuk is average. I'm not saying
I don't think he's average.
I'm not saying he doesn't belong in the league. Average players belong in the league. They're number 2s and number 3s. Usually, I think Ayuk is better than every receiver you have on your roster. Even absolutely not.
You think he's better than Peoples-Jones? Because no, I do.
I don't.
I do.
I don't think he is at all.
Peoples-Jones right now is your best receiver.
First of all, Jarvis Landry is better than Ayuk.
Jarvis Landry is not better. Maybe as of late, Jarvis Landry has not been impressive at all.
Well, Jarvis Landry's been hurt. But I'm saying when they're healthy, Jarvis Landry is better than Ayuk. Do I think he's worth the money? No. But if you're putting them face to face with each other, yeah, he's better. Ayuk is Higgins. Ayuk is as good as Hollywood Higgins is, which they're both average receivers.
Hollywood Higgins plays for the Bengals.
No. Hollywood Higgins is Rashard Higgins.
Is that do they refer to Rashard Higgins as Hollywood or
no? They refer to Rashard Higgins as Hollywood.
Oh, my bad. You got Sim going, bro.
Landry's been in the league for probably about 7 years now.
Ayuk is entering his third year.
Landry was better in his first 3 years than Ayuk has had in his first 3 years. Landry was better then. Landry's better now.
I mean, bro, the fact that you're trying to take away from Ayuk is bothering me because I do believe that Ayuk.
What have Ayuk proved that he's that good, that he's deserving of any type of praise I should heap on him? What has Ayuk done? I'll give the respect. I'll give the respect when you deserve it. I'll give you the respect when you command it. But I'm not just going to give the guy respect just to give the guy respect.
You made this now you're making this personal. It's starting to piss me off. All right.
I heap praise on Debo because he commanded it. He deserves it.
He's entering his third year, right? He's got
Yeah.
1,574 receiving yards.
I'm not saying he can't do anything. I'm saying as of right now, he has been very average. And he's done nothing for me to say, hey, this guy's going to do something. Every arrow points to him just being average. Now, can he? A lot of players make a jump from their second to third year. It used to be the thing that receivers took 3 years.
Jimmy can't fucking throw the ball. I mean, what the fuck do you want?
Jimmy seems to be able to find other receivers.
Huh?
Jimmy seems to be able to find other receivers.
Yeah, if they're fucking running screens or running slants, he's not throwing seams. He's not throwing deep routes. He's not throwing shit. He's not going deep.
Even when Trey Lance was in there, Ayuk didn't do anything. Sherfield did more than Ayuk.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
That's bullshit. That's wrong. Now you're just wrong. I mean, you've been wrong. You've been wrong on this whole fucking tangent that you've been running on here, bro.
Yeah, I've been right. You've been wrong.
Bullshit. Sim is a coach. This guy knows what he's talking about. And you want to tell a 49er fan.
Sim's a good guy. But he's your buddy.
What does that mean? He's a buddy to you too. He's a buddy to the show. He's a buddy. He's your buddy too.
He's your buddy.
Ayuk is entering his third year. He hasn't done shit. I'm not saying the kid is average though. He's good. The film shows it. He doesn't get the ball. Jimmy G doesn't give him looks. That will change. Watch the film. And I agree 100%, bro. You're gonna see difference. You're gonna see a difference in this offense because, frankly, we need to start airing out the ball, and that's something that we have not been able to do. Do you understand? It's something that we have not been able to do. So at the end of the day, Ayuk had 94 yards in Lance's second game off 4 catches. Yeah, okay. It can only get better from here, is what I'm trying to tell you. And I want to play something for you. Remember I was telling you about the Ryan Clark segment? I want you to hear this.
The song gets close. You think they can get it done with Trey Lance?
No! I cannot! Already? I can't see it, guys. And here's why. Right? So we went from the NFC Championship of saying that Trey Lance was not a better chance to win a game to get you in the Super Bowl than Jimmy G. And now all of a sudden we're going to get rid of Jimmy G because Trey Lance is ready. What the hell happened in a week, guys? Nothing. And so for me, you had an opportunity to have Trey Lance out there the entire season. You got to see him in practice when we didn't. You got to see him on the field against the Arizona Cardinals. We did too. It ain't look right. It didn't look great. And I know there are things when you look at guys like Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones, and we understand they need improvement. But they were good enough for their team to say, you know what? We can win with you out there, and it's time to have you there, not Trey Lance. And they're like, maybe he can't throw, right? Maybe he's not as accurate. Trey Lance. Maybe he's not as accurate as you need a quarterback to be in a Kyle Shanahan system. So guess what? We don't want Jimmy, right? We don't want Jimmy. Trey might not be ready. Let's package them both. Make them somebody else's problem. Green Bay don't want Jordan.
Package them both.
Let's just say, hey, we'll take Aaron. Take our quarterback. You take both and fire both of them?
I love the optimism.
Your voice is getting higher.
This fool, dude, Ryan Clark, is talking about packaging both and shipping them out to bring in Aaron Rodgers.
So in the how many games did Trey Lance start? 2. He started 2?
Yes.
He started against the first Cardinals game and what other game?
I
Was
can't
it one
remember.
of the ones towards the end?
No, not at all. What other game did he start?
I have the Cardinals.
Oh, the Texans game. The Texans.
Okay.
It was the Texans.
I have the Cardinals game pulled up. The Cardinals game with Trey Lance starting at quarterback, Ayuk had 2 catches for 32 yards.
Okay.
Let's look at when he was 49ers and the Seahawks when he came in.
I mean, I really don't understand what. So are you with Ryan Clark? Do you agree with Ryan Clark?
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with Ryan Clark.
Do you think we should package up Trey Lance and Jimmy and ship them both out?
I think he's being a little fluffy about that. I think he's just basically saying, "Hey, we don't need any of these fools. We'll take Aaron Rodgers, both of them." It's kind of how Callow said, "Take trade Barkley for the bench." You know. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I think Ryan Clark is just, a month ago, he didn't think that Jimmy was worth a shit and couldn't win us a Super Bowl. And now he's talking about Trey Lance isn't the guy Jimmy G is. Like, it's such bullshit. And I'm so tired. I'm so tired of the narrative.
I'm not saying there's this big thing where all of a sudden Ayuk becomes great once Trey Lance comes in, but that hasn't been the case. There's been 3 stints where Trey Lance has come in, and only in one of those 3 did Ayuk have any semblance of
Yeah,
success.
but Ayuk was in some kind of Ayuk was in the doghouse with Kyle. There was some shit going on at the beginning of the season. Shit wasn't right, and Brandon Ayuk wasn't himself. It was mid-season when he woke up. Shit changed.
I don't know.
Ayuk was far better. So we didn't really get the best of Brandon Ayuk when Trey started.
I don't know. I'm just saying there's no correlation to Trey Lance starting and Ayuk having success. Not yet.
Okay, Okay, so my question is Trey Lance ready in your opinion?
I can't answer that because I don't know. I don't have evidence. I don't have evidence to say that he isn't, and I don't have evidence to say that he is. I believe the kid has talent. He has a great arm. He has fantastic mobility, and he has great size. All that bodes well for him. But the thing is, the most important aspect of a quarterback is the ability to be patient, the ability to run an offense, the ability to be accurate, and the ability to complete most of your passes. And also the ability to be cool under pressure. And unfortunately, on those last bunch of things that I just told you, we don't know because he hasn't been in that position. Time will tell.
I agree, but I do see flashes of a very young, talented young man.
I think we have to find out because I don't think there's any way you can have Jimmy G come in again. I don't think there's any way that can happen.
I mean, not financially.
After what you spent to get Trey Lance, having him sit for 1 year is enough. I mean, having him sit for 2 years, you're basically almost admitting that you made a mistake.
I don't agree with that. I think
it's going to be detrimental towards Trey Lance. It's going to be detrimental towards the rest of the team. It's going to be detrimental towards the fan base. And the fan base will rebel. You have to start Trey Lance next year. You have no choice.
Symmetry says, "Are you not going to consider it was Lance's first start?"
What do you mean?
With the Ayuk talk.
I mean, he did play before too.
I mean, Nick, you're really taking this whole Ayuk thing to another level. Just let's just see. Let's just, like you said, time will tell.
I mean, time will tell. Three times of seeing him isn't enough to tell how great Ayuk is going to be either with Trey Lance. Might be fantastic. I don't know. Maybe Ayuk takes a step. I don't know. It's happened for receivers in their third year. Like I said, it used to be the thing. 3 years. That's when receivers really blossom, was in their third year. Now it doesn't necessarily work that way, but sometimes it still does. We just see a lot more receivers have a little more success earlier on, maybe in their first and second years. But it used to be the rule was pretty much 3 years. Third-year receiver. In fantasy football, you would always look for that third-year guy who's going to break out. Yeah, you don't know. But I'm saying nothing about it has led me to believe that that's a definite.
In the 2 games that Trey Lance played, just from what I'm saying, the kid made improvements with each quarter. In the Houston game, after the second half, he looked different. The kid's intelligent. He's got talent.
Houston was also a team that was terrible and tanking.
I don't know. They tried.
Yeah, everybody's gonna try.
You know, and it was a good sample. It was a good sample size for Trey, and it was a little bit of a film, you know, that he could improve on. So, you know, I just when people say Trey Lance isn't ready, I just don't understand where they get that information, because you're not there. You don't know. Let's just wait and see.
I don't know how he knows. I don't know how he knows what he knows, if he knows anything. The fact of the matter is, a lot of people on TV don't really, especially in sports, don't really have to back up their assessments with any facts. Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp is the First Take is the worst show I've ever seen for that. They don't back the shit up.
It's not First Take. That's Undisputed.
Oh, Undisputed. They just pull shit straight out of their ass, and there's nothing to back it up.
I think Skip is a lot of bullshit, but I think Shannon Sharp is, you know, I think he's pretty reasonable.
No, he's not.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why not?
Because half the shit he says doesn't make sense.
Symmetry says he wouldn't rule out. I think he's saying he wouldn't rule out Trey sitting another year. He said the third year.
He can't sit out another year.
The third year rule still applies. Yes, indeed, and he agrees with you on that.
You can't go. Can't go through this another year.
Haven't you guys, hold your thought. Hold that thought. Hold that thought.
Taken enough.
Hold that thought. What he's saying is, from watching the All-22 film, Ayuk was beating man coverage constantly and not getting the ball, which leads me to say he excels versus man. And if he had a QB who is more aggressive, Trey has shown that he should be better. He should be a better player than he is now, production-wise. That's a fair point. And there's no reason to push back on that, because
I'm not saying statistically Ayuk won't be better. I'm almost assuredly he will be, because they're probably going to utilize Trey Lance's arm a little more and try and throw the ball deeper a little bit. What I'm saying is that just because he's statistically better does not mean he's actually playing better.
Okay, we just said time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. I'm saying, I'm not saying anything definite. What I'm saying is that you can't make a blanket statement. That'd be like me saying, Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to be one of the best receivers next year. Why? Because he was good this year and he's just going to get better.
Yes, but this is Sim's opinion. Sim is saying he should be a better player than he is now, production-wise. This is an opinion. He's not. You asked what did he do in his game with Lance, and he looked at his stats. That's what did he do in this. in his game.
I'm saying there were 3 instances throughout the year where Trey Lance was in the game and played extensive minutes.
And one of those was his first start ever.
The end of the Seahawks game, the first Cardinals game, and the third and the Texans game.
The end of the Seahawks game was fucking disastrous. The way Shanahan used him in that game was fucking disastrous. Bullshit.
He still had opportunities to throw to Ayuk.
Okay, fuck, Nick. Jesus Christ, dude.
You're killing me here. Ayuk only had 1 catch for 15 yards that game.
Dude, I just want to bring Sim on just so he can explain to you what he's trying to say, because you're goddamn thick-headed and you're a pain in my fucking ass. Jesus Christ.
And even in the third game, it wasn't that great of a game. Like, it was like, would you be happy with that game on your fantasy team? Like,
I mean, fucking A, bro. The
90,
kid is 21 years old, dude. Dude, cut him a fucking break. I mean, you remind me of these Jimmy fans that are just like, you know, that Trey can't do. Like, dude, you said before we started this show, you said that time would tell how Trey develops.
Yes, but there is only one. There is only one medication for what ails San Francisco 49ers fans, and that is Trey Lance being as good as prescribed. Better than Jimmy, taking them to places bigger than Jimmy, or at least in his early career, taking them as far as Jimmy. If there's a regression in the team's successes, heads are going to roll. I'm telling you that, again, just like I told you that there would be a quarterback controversy.
I'm not saying that you're wrong.
I'm telling you again, if there is a regression, if there's no regression, then and everything's calm. Jimmy wasn't the answer. We're ready to roll with Trey. It's all good.
Yes, but
there's a regression.
I got one question for you.
Heads will roll.
Are you saying that the success of San Francisco's season was because of Jimmy G?
I'm saying that Jimmy is more of a part of it than you think.
I mean, fucking A. I get that, Nick. I'm pretty sure I understand.
Jimmy G.
I'm asking you a question. Do you believe that the success of the season was primarily because of Jimmy Garoppolo?
I'm not saying primarily, but Jimmy G was a positive impact on the season for you, yes. He wasn't a negative impact. He was a positive impact. It's true. And he's been a positive impact the entire time he's been playing with the 49ers.
I mean, he's been here since 2017, but we've only had 2 full seasons.
And one of them's been in the NFC Championship game, and one of them took you to the Super Bowl.
Both instances where arm strength potentially cost us both victories.
Okay, but you got to understand something. It's hard to get to those places.
I will say the right side of the offensive line potentially cost us a little bit more this past NFC Championship than the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, there were times where, Sim says he's pulled over in the snow. This is wonderful. I still wish I could bring you on, bro. I personally have questions about Trey being under pressure, but that's about it. His other traits appear to be good enough or easily coachable. I agree with that. That's a fair assessment. I mean, there's going to be questions that a lot of people are going to have because Trey didn't get a fair opportunity this season, which I still believe is bullshit, that Shanahan could have utilized him in situations, but that's nor here nor there. That's a conversation for another day. Jimmy was a great pro, and that's a huge benefit to Trey, who needed to learn the nuances of the everyday pro life, not just on the field stuff. That's fair too, because Trey was very grateful to Jimmy. And he said that on multiple occasions. Jimmy was a good pro. Jimmy didn't embarrass the franchise. Jimmy didn't make headlines. He wasn't out acting a fool. Wasn't beating up on anybody. He was fair. He was beyond fair. He's a good pro. He was a good, respectable professional. You can't take that away from him. Not at all. Yo, what are you, sleeping?
No. Look at that shit.
All right, look at the camera. I'm talking to you. Jimmy was a good professional. Jimmy was very good here. He was very professional. We got somebody new here. Luther Trudeau 5. Trey Lance is going to be the best out of his draft class. I believe that.
Once again, I think time will tell with this draft class because this draft class still has a lot of potential and a lot of unanswered questions. At times, Fields look really good. At times, he looked terrible. At times, Mac Jones looked really good, but how high is his ceiling? Who's the other guy? Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson looked pretty crappy all year. Same thing with Trevor Lawrence, but or is it just because of how bad their teams were? A lot of things have to shake out before we really judge this class. It's probably going to take a year or two longer. Trey Lance didn't really get an opportunity, so.
Yeah, but those guys, those guys were situational needs, right? They were drafted to start.
Yeah,
Trey Lance was going to be, sitting behind Jimmy G. Jimmy G was going to be the bridge. And, financially, the San Francisco 49ers could not afford to keep Jimmy G on the books. Not when you need to pay Debo and Bosa. You understand what I'm saying? Like this was, and whether or not this Tom Brady talks and the Aaron Rodgers talks and all this crazy shit, would I be opposed, hypothetically speaking, would I be opposed to Trey sitting another year behind Tom Brady? I would be for that, and I think, I don't think I'd be the only one that would tell you that. But when Brady was interested and the 49ers, they went with Jimmy. They did not run with, after the Super Bowl. They had an opportunity to sign Tom Brady, and they did not. So I don't believe that would, come to fruition. But, Sim says we have the money for Debo already. We don't have to pay Bosa this year. True. I guess I didn't think about that. Sim, are you thinking that Jimmy would potentially run it back in 2022? Do you think it's a possibility? Sim says preparation is most important aspect of playing QB. You don't have to learn that by playing. So I was okay with Trey sitting this year for the most part. He also says Trey had a better second start than any of the other rookie quarterbacks' second start. Jerry says, I would be the first to say I wanted Fields. Honestly, Fields could have sat, and he may have done way better. Jerry, I actually thought Justin Fields was going to be the pick also. I didn't. Obviously, being a Buckeyes fan, I was more familiar with Fields than I had any knowledge of Trey Lance. But I dug deep and I found stuff that was intriguing to me, and I was impressed by Trey's by some of the Trey stuff. So, I'm not going to say one could have been better than the other. I think Fields now under Nagy, I think that was a shitty situation for him. But they did what they had to do. I'm excited to see what Trey Lance's first full season.
Did they fire Nagy yet?
Yeah, he's gone, bro.
Yeah.
The head coach of the Bears is what the hell's his name? Shit. Who the hell did they pick? I think he was
Eberflus.
Eberflus. There you go. There you go. I couldn't remember that. That name sounds like something from Harry Potter, bro.
Yeah, it does. Sounds like one of the creatures.
I'm not advocating Jimmy's returns, but I'm saying it's not impossible. I can agree with that. Justin Fields and Lance is going to be an example of what happens when you put a QB in a bad system versus a good one. Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap this up. Basically, I think the jury's out. I can't really give you a thing, is Trey Lance ready or is he not ready? We're going to have to figure that out. I feel like it has to happen, that he has to get thrown to the fire, and let's see if he is ready, because I don't think you can do another year with Jimmy. I just can't. I think you guys
Nick, to be fair, if Trey Lance starts this season, if and when he does, I mean, he's developing. Like, there's not going to be a finished product out there. That's silly. You know, I'm not saying that that's what you expect, but he's going to be developing this season.
Yeah,
and it could be, it's going to be. It can't be fucking terrible.
It could be terrible.
It won't be. I don't believe it will.
We're hoping it won't be. There's always a possibility that it could be terrible. You think the people that drafted Jamarcus Russell thought that there was any possibility that it couldn't be terrible? And news for you, it was fucking terrible. Otherwise, they wouldn't have drafted him with the first pick if they thought there was a possibility that it could be terrible. So,
okay. How the fuck did Jamarcus Russell come into this?
Well, he was the number one pick in the draft.
Yeah, I get it.
With respect to the draft.
I get it.
I'm just saying, it could be terrible. You don't know. Is it probably?
I'm saying based off of. I'm saying based off the sample sizes that we saw. How many yards did Trey Lance have in his 2 games starting? How many yards did he have overall in the small sample size that we saw?
He had $190 the first game, and the second game he did better. He had like 250 or something like that, maybe almost 300.
And he rushed for a whole bunch of yards, right? Yeah, I agree with you, Sam. I think he's going to be fine too, bro. Yes, Jamarcus Russell. Nick said Jamarcus Russell, bro.
Yeah, Jamarcus Russell is a very high pick in that draft.
No, I get it. There were many bust out first round picks, bro. First picks overall. You know, there were guys that were but I don't believe it. Trey Lance.
Would you like me to go Ryan Leaf? Some people thought Ryan Leaf was going to be better than Peyton Manning. So,
yeah, actually, I was thinking about. I think I just saw something on Ryan Leaf, and Peyton Manning. Nonetheless,
Achilles Smith. There was another guy who was like kind of like unknown, raw quarterback, great skill. People were like, "Oh, this guy's gonna be great." No way he could be that bad. Guess so.
Nick, look. Before we go off on,
I think he's going to be better than that. But the question is, how good?
No, you're saying if I understand what you're saying, you don't believe that Trey will be a bust.
I don't think that'll be a bust, but unfortunately, I think he has to be excellent. I think he has to be excellent, and I think he has to be excellent very soon.
I think that's a little bit. I think that's unreasonable.
I'm not saying he has to be Mahomes, but I'm saying he has to have Mahomes like trajectory, where he sat his first year, but he's got to be good off rip. And you guys can't have a step back. I'm not saying you guys have to absolutely make the NFC Championship, but if you guys don't make the playoffs, it's going to be a disaster.
It's unreasonable. You're being unreasonable.
No, I'm not being unreasonable, John, because you guys had wasted draft capital on a team that was a stone's throw from the Super Bowl. Also, a team that just went to the Super Bowl 2 years prior. You guys are a Super Bowl caliber team. But there's very little chance you can improve it because of all the capital that you guys wasted.
What if we were so what you're saying is we were some form of quarterback play away from winning both.
No,
it comes down to the quarterback.
You guys could have been some other position away from winning both.
Yeah, but I'm going to say that some weak ass quarterback play prevented us from winning both the Super Bowl and the simple fact that Jimmy's not mobile, Trey could have found himself out of those situations.
I mean,
could have spread the field.
Essentially,
could have made defenses play him respectively.
Essentially, this year, you spent your first and your second round pick on a backup quarterback. Where if you would have spent your first and your second round pick on positions that actually were able to help the team, maybe a quarterback.
Okay. So you already saw the defense put the ball back in Jimmy's hands multiple times. And multiple times, the defense is doing what it needs to do. A good pass rush doesn't really necessitate great corners.
Yeah, but if you have a great corner, it makes it all much better.
Yeah, but I mean, if your pass rush is phenomenal, then what do you need to waste capital on a great corner? Not saying that a great corner wouldn't.
But you have a great corner that's cheap.
We have Jason Verrett, who could come back and be fantastic.
Okay, imagine Jason Verrett.
Tarvarius Moore is a safety.
Imagine Jason Verrett with Greg Newsome. Imagine Jason Verrett with Asante Samuel. Imagine Jason Verrett with all these guys.
The Asante Samuel thing, that's a conversation for another day.
I'm just saying, imagine Jason Verrett with those guys too, and that pass rush. That defense has the opportunity to be Raven-esque.
Okay, so the defense.
2001.
So the defense is Raven-esque or the 2020 Buccaneers, but the quarterback play is still deficient.
But you don't need a great quarterback play. And listen, like I said, Jimmy's deficient, but he's still good.
I'm not saying he's garbage.
Still functional with Jimmy, man. You guys were a stone's throw away from going to the Super Bowl this year, and you guys made the Super Bowl 2 years prior. The only time you didn't make the Super Bowl was in the middle when Jimmy was hurt. You guys have proven that you can get to very great success with Jimmy at the helm. If you get
also blew his ACL in 2020.
What I'm saying
we suffered a great deal in 2020. It wasn't just because Jimmy wasn't available 2020. I mean, the defense was hurt too.
What I'm saying is if you so you guys are gonna go away from Jimmy. I'm 100% confident of that. If you guys go away from Jimmy and you guys start Trey Lance and you guys don't reach that success or even come close to it, I'm not saying you guys have to go to the NFC Championship, but if you guys get to the playoffs and get smoked the first game, heads are gonna roll.
Yeah, but that's because of people like you, and the media is gonna spin a narrative that
I don't think you should take a step back just for the sake of taking a step back. That being said, I'm more than reasonable to give Trey Lance the benefit of the doubt that he needs a couple of years before he gets really good. But I also don't think that you should take a step back for the sake of taking a step back when you could go for it. That's why I think.
In what regard? Go for it. How? Go for it with what?
Make your team better. Make the team around Jimmy better. You had the opportunity to do it.
The team doesn't value the cornerback position. It's not just a joke between you, me, and Tony. It's a fact.
Even if the team doesn't value the cornerback position, it's still a position on the football field that you can address in the draft.
I mean, Look, I don't think that San Francisco really is going. I think they're always going to build the trenches. I think they're always going to bolster the offensive line, and they're always going to want to. They're always going to want fresh legs on the edge. So I mean,
you could have got more.
Thanks, fam. Hold on, Nick. Hold on. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you for the subscription, man. Yes, Bashar is awesome, bro. I loved my time with him on his podcast. Thank you so much, bro, for the sub. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. Hold on. Let me get caught up here with the comments. Symmetry says there were lots of scouts that knew Jamarcus was as dumb as rocks. Al Davis took him because he had dementia. Achilles Smith was addicted to hookers and liquor. Trey Lance is matured and dedicated to being a pro. His dad played. He's from good stock. He's made of the right stuff. I believe that.
That's all hindsight. What was Rob Johnson's excuse? His hindsight excuse. What was Rick Meyer's hindsight excuse? It's always easy in hindsight to go back and pick. Oh, we should have known. Yeah, everyone. What's his name? What's his name? The guy with Peyton Manning. Idiot. What's that guy? I just said his name earlier. I can't think of it now. Like getting dementia.
What? I mean, I'm reading the comments here. Hold on a minute. There's no indication Trey will fall on his face unless the entire team does, and I don't see that happening. Jerry says, what did we really lose this year? First draft pick. A first draft pick isn't really that bad. There was a little more than that.
You lost your first and your second. And then you also had a second that you drafted that guy out of Nevada.
At a certain point, regardless of how decent Jimmy was, we've reached a point where our offense becomes predictable with him and harder for Kyle to string drives together. Now that is 100% fucking fact right there. You cannot argue that. You and I have talked about this many times.
I can argue it with saying that the guy got to the NFC Championship game, man. If it's that easy to stop Jimmy, then fucking why is so many people have trouble doing it? And if it's so easy to beat the 49ers that way, why do so many people have trouble doing it?
Dude, I mean, what kills me?
Either way, I really don't want to argue this topic because we gotta start dipping our toes in the NBA because the season's over. But
just hold your horses. This right here and what you just said. There's something to say about this. You push him back. You don't get to push back without pushback.
What I will say is that if Trey Lance does not have a similar amount of success as Jimmy Garoppolo, there's going to be a problem.
I believe that Trey has the potential to have more success than Jimmy.
And if he does, that's fine.
No, that's great.
But if he doesn't, there's going to be a big problem. Not a small problem. A big problem.
I don't know how that could be.
What do you mean you don't know how that could be? You're gonna have fans being like, "What the fuck did you do? You sold."
Fans have been saying that now. There were fans that wanted Mac Jones. There were fans that wanted Fields.
There are half the fans are Jimmy. I think you have more Trey fans than Jimmy fans. You're going to switch the politics up. And then you're going to start having more Jimmy fans than Trey fans.
No, as a matter of a fact, there was
and Trey's your sole starting quarterback. That's never a good sign.
Nick, you got to take this small sample of Twitter, the Twitter people versus the fans that go to the games. Okay, from what I've heard from multiple sources, were that at the games, the fans are legit lit for Jimmy. I mean, that place is lit for Jimmy.
John, I'm a Browns fan.
No kidding.
I have seen my fair share of quarterback controversy before. I know how this shit plays out. There's a reason why I was super pissed when the Browns drafted Brady Quinn. There's a reason. Because I knew that they wanted this motherfucker to play. And we had a quarterback, and say what you want, he wasn't the greatest quarterback in the world, but he had a relative amount of success in Derek Anderson. And I wanted to roll with Anderson. But these motherfuckers drafted Brady Quinn the next fucking year. And all of a sudden, everyone was in their fucking minds, out of their fucking minds, wanting to see Brady Quinn play. And I knew he sucked. And then once he got on the field, what happened? He sucked. Okay? And I'm not saying that's going to be the same thing with Trey Lance, because I think Trey Lance is infinitely more talented than Brady Quinn was. But this is what happens. It fucks your entire franchise up.
Does it though?
Yeah.
Or does it just ruffle the feathers of some of the locker
Brady
room?
Quinn, the drafting of Brady Quinn probably set the Browns back a half decade. A, because we traded up to get him. B, because he wasn't any good and we wasted 2 years with him. And C, it just created an entire culture of losing. Not like we had
the culture in Cleveland has been trash.
Not like we had a great culture of winning before them, but it further on it extenuated that process. It took us 5 years to get out of that. It took us 5 years and 2 seasons where we won 1 game.
Sim says, as Browns fans, you should know that the fans being pissed doesn't mean anything because they remain fans.
No, fans run what the organization does.
With all due respect, fuck the fans, myself included.
There's only a couple teams that don't get ran by the fans, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers, that is the Dallas Cowboys, and that's it. Every other team, with the exception of the team that the fans don't give a fuck, because there are teams where the fans don't give a fuck. Those are the only teams that don't get ran by the fans. The teams with passionate fan bases and that have owners that are worried about the bottom dollar, those teams get ran by the fans big time. The only teams that don't are the teams that have that don't have passionate fan bases, that really just let their teams do whatever the hell they want. They really don't care, like the LA Rams. Or teams that have owners that are just bosses and just do whatever the hell they want. They don't really give a shit about the fans, like Jerry Jones and the Roonies.
Jimmy rode the defense and superstars' coattails. Plus, Shanahan dumbed down the offense for Jimmy because he knows his weaknesses. It's something that 49er fans are used to, bro. They're used to the fact that they're used to the fact that Shanahan has to dumb down, so to speak, his playbook so that Jimmy can function within the system. And it holds back players. It holds back success. I mean, there's no doubt about it. All right. Yeah, for sure, brother. Nick Chubb is a beast. He's nasty. If Trey was that bad, I think the locker room would have noticed by now, and you would have seen the toxicity you saw in the Cleveland locker room. And that's a fair point too.
I don't necessarily know if there was necessarily toxicity in the Cleveland locker room.
Where else is it going to be?
I think there's toxicity in the ownership.
It trickles down, bro.
In the fans.
It trickles down. It trickles down from shitty ownership to shitty front offices to shitty coaching. It trickles down into the locker room. It's a shitty situation for everyone. And because of all of that, all of the above, you have a losing fucking culture in Cleveland. Sim says Jed York isn't worried about the bottom dollar, and I agree. I think that he spends what needs to be spent. I think hiring Kyle Shanahan, basically giving him the keys to the castle, it says a lot. The Niners are one of those organizations. You realize this team let go of the greatest QB ever and the greatest wide receiver ever, and we didn't tear the house down. He's talking about Joe Montana and Jerry Rice.
I mean, Jerry Rice was getting a little older. It was acceptable at that time to get rid of Jerry Rice. And, Joe Montana. The
quarterback situation between Joe Montana and Steve Young
was
a very similar very similar controversy.
You know, it wasn't a similar controversy. Steve Young
maybe not to this caliber
Steve Young actually played phenomenally well. Okay. And it was always kind of a thing where people were like, man, this Steve Young's impressing a lot. Maybe when he gets an opportunity, he's going to actually be really good. And then he got that opportunity and was really good. It was like that was like the Aaron Rodgers situation. But Joe Montana got hurt, and he got hurt pretty bad. And they weren't necessarily sure that Joe Montana was ever really going to play again. And to be honest, he only played one more season and then retired. He only played
with
one
Kansas
season.
City.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice went on the Raiders and showed up Tim Brown 100+ receptions.
Yeah, but I mean, even that 100+ receptions, it wasn't like he tore down the house. It was just a really good year.
The point that we're trying to make here is that
Jerry
we
Rice
didn't
was
fucking lose it. We didn't go batshit and blow up the fucking franchise or blow up the fan base. You know what I'm saying? Sim says the majority of fans wanted Joe to play over Steve, even when Joe was clearly hurt. Joe wanted to stay. Eddie D begged Joe to come back, and Seifert forced him out. There's a quarterback controversy there.
There was a quarterback controversy, but it wasn't the same.
And it's funny because, and hold on a minute, there's a little bit to this. Joe Montana says that Trey Lance is not ready. And Steve Young says Trey Lance is ready. It's funny because Joe sides with Jimmy and Steve sides with Trey. And the similarity between Joe and Jimmy, and not that there's much of a similarity, but I'm saying the style of quarterback play. You know what I'm saying? A guy who's not very mobile, but Joe was mobile when needed to be. But Steve Young was a mobile quarterback similar to the traits of Trey Lance. So I guess what I'm saying is Steve Young is familiar with the play of Trey Lance. Joe Montana is not. Hell, Joe Montana says he doesn't even watch football. You know? He doesn't even watch football, which is crazy to me to make the statement. But it is what it is. That's his opinion. He's entitled to it. I don't know, man. I think it's way premature for people to say that Trey Lance is not ready because there's nobody that really knows. You know, unless you're at the practices, unless you're in the coaching staff, and you just people are just giving their opinions, and they're saying a lot with conviction, and it blows my mind because the sample is so minimum, but it was good. It was a small sample, but it was good. There's promise there. There's talent, obviously, especially in the West, where mobile threats, Kyler, Russell, now you got Trey, right? Sim says the owner wanted Joe to stay, and the coach said no. The fans had no say. Sim sees it a little differently. You see it differently in what, brother? Maybe I missed it. Hold on. I agree. They both favor who they like, who they play like. Yeah, it's true. At least it seems that way. Sim says, I think Joe sees himself in Trey, and Jimmy is Steve DeBerg. Okay, so that's where he meant he saw it differently. Joe said he wasn't ready to play, or Joe said he wasn't ready his rookie year. In almost the same tone he speaks about Trey. I think he's speaking from experience, and Steve is speaking from a fan's desire. You know, that I get it, and I understand where you're coming from. But I also heard a segment of where Steve Young said, you know, where he was sitting and he was preparing all the time, as if he were going to start, and he said that I think he made the reference where he was like, sitting Trey is a waste. And I might be missing some of it. God, my memory is fucking shit. But I mean, I think what Steve Young was saying was, if Trey's not starting, it's a waste. And I don't know if he meant for this season or if he meant for the upcoming season. Like this is Trey's time now. Take advantage of the rookie contract and get Trey out there and develop him as we should. But I get what you're saying, Sim. I understand that. I mean, you guys in the chat, give me your final thoughts on the Trey Lance situation, and then we're going to move on to the NBA trade deadline and our final thoughts. I don't know, Nick. It's been a long season of Jimmy fans and Trey fans, and there's just a lot. It's just been a lot, and you predicted it. I'm not going to say you're wrong. You were 100% right when you said quarterback controversy divides the franchise. The quarterback controversy divides the fan base, and it did. Essentially, it did. But I mean, I think when Sim said up here, I think it's where we've reached a point where the offense has become predictable, and I think it has. And I think that's basically it, bro. With Jimmy, we were very predictable. You knew where he was going to go with the ball. You had playmakers like Debo and Kittle, and they were making plays. And then there were times where he just threw fucking bullshit into coverage that he should not have. We'll let these guys bring in their final thoughts with the Trey Lance. If you guys don't have final thoughts, we'll move along. The NBA trade deadline, bro. What did you see? What did you like?
So, I mean, obviously the big one's the Harden Simmons trade. I think this was a trade more out of necessity, just because both individuals didn't want to be on their respective teams than anything. I think maybe Philadelphia got the better of the deal because, although, you know what, maybe Simmons, he hasn't really played on the Nets too much yet, but maybe Simmons takes away that other scoring threat and just plays really good defense, which he's capable of doing. He's capable of guarding 1 through 5. So it could play out like that. Maybe it's a benefit, but definitely the better player is Harden. And I think Philadelphia got the better of the deal because now you have a situation where you just have a dual scoring threat team, which I think is always better than a 3 scoring threat team. You always have your other guys that can score a little bit, but you want the majority of your points to come from 2 guys. It's always harder when there's 3 mouths to feed.
Okay, so are you saying that Harden was bumping heads with the Kyrie situation in Brooklyn?
Harden,
do you think there was
Harden towards the end? There was he was doing the same thing he did at Houston. He was playing like absolute shit. I think he got fatter. Like he was
okay,
big.
That's not exactly where I was going with this. I'm asking you, do you think that he was fed up with the controversy in Brooklyn? Do you think that the Kyrie Irving situation where he didn't want to be vaccinated, do you believe that hindered Harden?
I don't think we ever
mentally, so to speak.
I don't think we ever got a definitive answer, but for whatever reason, Harden wasn't happy, and when Harden's not happy, he just pretty much refuses to play.
Okay. I mean, they were losing 7 straight. They had lost 7 straight at one point before the trade.
Because Harden refused to play.
But I'm asking you, where he and Kevin Durant bumping heads offensively, like the way that they wanted to run the offense.
Like I said, I really don't know what the situation was, but yeah, I mean,
it didn't work for them together in Oklahoma, right?
no.
And it didn't seem to work out here in Brooklyn either.
But I don't know if it didn't work out with them in Oklahoma because they didn't play well together, or if maybe they had a little bit of a dysfunction with Russ.
I know
Harden's time in Oklahoma was he wanted more of a role instead of being a six-man type guy. He wanted to be a premier star player.
Yeah, I guess I don't know that he wasn't getting the role he wanted here in Brooklyn. I just think that
he had the role. He was one of the guys. But
I mean, when they assembled this team, when they made these trades, they were a lock to win the East. They were going to win a championship in 2020.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
maybe he got fed up. Maybe he got fed up with just Kyrie not being able to play every day.
And now there's this narrative.
I haven't really heard anything about why he was upset. It was just apparent he was upset.
I mean, he's going to tell you that it wasn't the situation with Kyrie and Kyrie's choices. He wasn't going to go on blast and be like, "Yo, look, you know what I'm saying?" Like, he wasn't going to go on blast and be like, "Look, Kyrie complicated things. He complicated home games. He basically, threw a monkey wrench in the season. He hurt this team," which I believe he did. I believe Kyrie's antics hurt this team. Whether they're whether or not, I'm not going to criticize his choices, but I'm not going to say it didn't have an impact on his teammates and on the overall, he made it complicated. He complicated the situation, which Kyrie complicated the situation in Boston. He complicated shit in Cleveland. He just started to complicate shit. Like, bro, shit or get off the fucking pot. You want to fucking play, or do you want to fucking, complicate shit?
Well, but Kyrie always complicates shit.
I know. I don't like that shit. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
There was a couple other trades of
hold on. Let me touch. Hold that thought. Let me touch on this real quick. Jerry says, with all the coaching changes, we may be going through more changes than we know. Offense may look very different. I agree with you. I agree with you, Jerry. There are significant coaching changes, and D'Amico chose to sit pat, so defense shouldn't change much. I think I don't think we're going to see anything there. Offensively, though, I do agree with you. We do not have our tight ends coach. We are going to look different, bro, but it could be for the better. It could be for the better. I appreciate you, Jerry. Thank you so much for the comment, man. What do y'all think about?
I was just about to bring that trade up. So the Indiana Pacers and the Sacramento Kings made a big trade. On one end, it makes absolutely no sense. On the other end, it was a pretty good trade. I think the Tony's Indiana Pacers, they traded Domantas Sabonis to the Sacramento Kings for Tyrese Halliburton and also Buddy Hield. I think on Indiana's part, it makes perfect sense. You get a young point guard. You have a bunch of big men that you're grooming up. You have Isaiah Jackson. You have Goga Batadze, and you have Miles Turner. And basically, you had to trade one of Turner or Sabonis. One of them had to go. And honestly, Turner is the one that's always been said to be on the trading block. All of a sudden, Sabonis is the one that goes. That beats me. But either way, I think it's a good trade for the Pacers. For the Sacramento
I think they
Kings,
needed to. I think they needed to bulk. I think they needed to bulk. I think they needed to add a little bit more to the trade. So Sabonis was going to be.
I think the better player out of the two is Miles Turner. But the Pacers have never used Miles Turner right. So, but anyways, the Sacramento Kings trading those two guys, trading Tyrese Halliburton, a young guard who's pretty freaking good, for Domantas Sabonis makes absolutely no sense. Because
It's kind of wild.
Domantas Sabonis is not a modern day big. He's kind of an old fashioned big. And I don't think that's necessarily dead in this league, but the only thing is that the Sacramento Kings had a good center already in Rashawn Holmes. Like, center wasn't their problem. They needed other stuff. So it makes no sense. But for the Pacers, it makes perfect sense. They did it. They had a heck of a trade there. Another big trade. Actually, it wasn't really a big trade, but it was a good role playing trade. Was the Boston Celtics getting Derek White from the San Antonio Spurs? I forget exactly what they traded for him, but Derek White fits really good on the Boston Celtics. He's a guy that doesn't need the ball in his hands to do a little bit of damage. He can punch in some offensive stats, but he's not a guy that's really got to be dependent on that. They got two guys who can fill up the box score on the offensive side. But he's a guy that gets really good defensive stats from a point guard, shooting guard type role. He gets a lot of blocks for a guard. He gets a lot of steals. He can dish it out a little bit. He can get a couple rebounds. He can shoot the three. He's a very good role player. Role players are hard to find in the NBA. The role player, these A+ role players are almost harder to find than like bona fide stars. And sometimes they're even more important, if that makes any sense. John, I can't hear you.
Chicago is a pretty good example of role players. I think they assembled a squad that's chemistry is unmatched right now.
Well, Chicago
and they are just role players.
Chicago is
they are role players.
Chicago is one of my favorite young players in the league. And
they addressed every need. They addressed every need, and it worked. It's impressive.
Ayo Dosunmu is one of the best young players in the league. That guy's nice. And DeMar DeRozan's out of this world. One of the trades that we'll talk about, a Cavs trade. The Cavs got Karis LeVert. I don't like it. And I'm not even just being a Cavs hater. I don't think LeVert's that good. I think he's overrated, and I think he's eventually going to be a liability. I think he's an inefficient scorer. I believe he could do a couple things well, but I don't think he does them well enough to justify his place in that trade.
No, dude. The Cavs right now are they're amazing. They're amazing.
Yeah, but I don't think Karis LeVert makes them better.
Karis LeVert has helped this team.
I don't think so. They're 2-2 since he's gotten there.
Okay, I mean, we also have had Garland was out both times.
Okay.
So I mean, that hurt. Before we get into it, hold on a minute. You got this right here. Do you think they traded Derek White because of how do you say his name? DeJounte Murray's progression?
I mean, here's the thing. Derek White didn't have to play point guard. I mean, DeJounte Murray plays point guard, and Derek White plays shooting guard. But I believe they have a different plan for that team, and White doesn't fit as good as some of those other players do. So it is what it is. But Derek White is going to fit really good on the Boston Celtics, I believe.
My man, good to see you, fam. Thanks for stopping in, brother.
Another
Thank you so
trade,
much, bro.
and perhaps
Hold on, wait. I'm still talking about my Karis LeVert trade, bro.
All right, talk about
Time
your
out a minute.
trade.
Time out a minute. This dude is a true guard, right?
No,
It's something that
he's guard small forward.
yeah, but I mean, he's changed the way this. You know, the thing about the Cavs offense is that when Garland was out, we struggled a bit. Chetty Osman was out there, you know, making a mess of shit at times, trying to do too much. Kevin Love was at times, you know, at the end of the day, the Cavs are in a good position. Karis LeVert was good. They really didn't lose. They really didn't lose on it. You know?
I don't necessarily think they lost.
We still have Laurie Markin. What?
I said I don't necessarily think they lost, but I don't think it necessarily helps them.
Yes, it does. Karis LeVert helps the Cavs.
And he hasn't really even been that good.
I think he did. I think he put up a pretty decent. I think he put up decent numbers his first few games.
He's been averaging about 30 minutes.
Yeah, but I think we're utilizing him more defensively. I mean, you know, he's been more of a defensive asset to the Cavs moving forward.
He's been averaging about 30 minutes. He's been shooting about high 30s, low 40s since he's been on the Cavs. I'm talking field goal, not three-pointer. He had one game where he had 22 points, and the rest of the games he had 11 or under for the other three. He's not giving you much in peripheral stats. I mean, he's never really been a lockdown defender, and he's always been a poor shooter, and I think that's what you got, and I really don't like him.
You know, it figures you would say that. You'll go against the grain.
I just gave you the reason why I didn't like it.
I mean, that's let's wait. Let's wait and see.
I mean, but that's what he's been his entire career. Like he hasn't. It's not like I'm just saying that in a 4-game sample. He's been that his entire career. He's been a poor shooter. Sometimes he's been in a role where he's had volume shooting, but he's always been a poor volume shooter. He's never really been.
So the Cavs went out and got him because he sucks. That's what you're saying.
I think Karis LeVert is.
They're like, you know what? Karis LeVert sucks. He shoots 30%.
I think Karis LeVert's one of those guys that is kind of like a unicorn type guy that coaches and owners and general managers think we can make this guy good because he's got. If you look at him, he looks like a basketball player. He's 6'7". He's long. He's lanky. For a guy as big as he is, he can shoot. And you think this is a guy that should be able to average 20 points in the NBA. This is a guy that should be able to get you about 6 to 7 boards a game. This is a guy that should be able to get you. He's a pretty good passer for being a fairly decent sized fella. This guy should be getting you about 5-6 assists a game. This guy should be giving you, with the way he's built, he should be stealing balls and he should be blocking shots. And
yes, he's a defensive nightmare, bro.
No,
you're talking about his 30%. His 30%. You're talking about what? Shooting the 3 ball? Like
no, he's 30% is like as a shooter.
I think that 30% is in reference to the 3 ball.
No, I'm saying he's in the high 30s, low 40s as a field goal percentage. And he's always been there. Yes. And he's always been there.
I just
He's to have him on my fantasy team. Kills you in some places and helps you out in the scoring department in 3-point category. That's about it. I think he's also good at free throws.
I think he's a great fit. I think defensively he's a phenomenal fit here. I really do.
He's not that good of a defensive player.
We'll see.
Now, my team actually made a fantastic trade.
Tell everyone who your team is, Nick. Tell
Portland Trailblazers. They've done what I've been telling them to do for years. And you got to break up CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard. You got to do it. It's a must. You can't go anywhere with those two guys as your backcourt. Not only did they do that, they brought in one of my favorite players. You know how I was telling you that you can't find that role players are hard to come by? They got the best role player. They got the best role player in the league in the series of trades. In Josh Hart. I love Josh Hart. One of my favorite players in the league. Why? Because he's a guy that doesn't need the ball to be effective. And when you have a guy like Dame Lillard, you want a guy that doesn't need the ball to be effective. But he also can score if you need him to. He can rebound. For a guard, he may be among the best rebounding guards in the league. He's a great defensive player. He's the epitome of a 3-and-D plus guy who can hit three-pointers. They've actually been winning since they did this trade. There's a chance they get into the playoff race. There's a chance Dame comes back. And there's a chance that they could actually make a run.
What are they saying about him right now?
Well, originally Dame said he's probably going to be back sometime in he was like targeting like mid-March. But they were thinking, if the Trailblazers go out, they were thinking conventional wisdom was if we trade CJ, we're going to suck and we're going to go for the draft pick. Well, that's not necessarily the case. They've actually been better since they got rid of CJ. Now you freed up Anthony Simons to essentially be CJ. You get Josh Hart, who could play alongside a Dame and be that true number two guy that is a compliment as opposed to being a guy who you have to split time with. And their team is just overall better now. It was a fantastic trade. Fantastic trade.
I like it. I just, dude, I got to push back on this LeVert stuff, bro. You're really taking a lot away from my guy.
I mean, just look at his stats.
I mean, I'm looking at his stats. I mean, I'm talking about his first start, bro. He racked up 22, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 block, 3 steals in 36 minutes. We came back to beat Indiana.
No, his first start, he got 11 points. His second start, he got 22. Then the next start, he had 11. The next start, he had 9. And all but the one that he got 22, he shot in the mid to low 30s.
He's averaged 16 and a half, 3.5 assists, a couple of rebounds, 2 steals. Look, he hasn't been here very long, so I'm not going to listen to you discredit the guy because there's still a lot of basketball left, bro. I'm going to go to the Timberwolves game and I'm going to assess it. But I do want to touch on something. If you guys don't watch hockey, I don't blame you.
Yes,
if you haven't been,
we've actually made a solemn swear to not talk about hockey. But our buddy John went to a hockey game, and we've always said that hockey games are probably more fun in person than they are actually watching.
Oh my God, dude! If you haven't gone to a hockey game,
I'm gonna let John talk about hockey.
If you haven't gone to a hockey game, you owe it to yourself to go to a hockey game. The energy is insane. Now, the Pittsburgh Penguins are top of the Metropolitan in their respective division. But more importantly, Sidney Crosby scored his 500th goal on Tuesday night. And I was there for it, and it was lit. I mean, it was insane.
They did a like special thing when he scored it?
Yeah, absolutely. Lemieux came on over the Megatron there, and he was like congratulating him, and it was pretty amazing. The fans were electric. I mean, a hockey game for multiple reasons is a fantastic time, right? I mean, you're watching physicality, aggressive, great skating, some amazing passes. You know, on TV, bro, I can't see the puck. I don't even follow the puck on TV. I lose it. Like over here, these guys are wrecking each other, and then the puck is way over here, right?
Yep.
Just watching a hockey game in person it's intense. And that was only my second time. Was it my second time? I think it was my second time, and it was amazing, bro. Just the energy, right? Look at that place. Just look at it. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, people everywhere, bro. I mean, they must have clapped like this for 5 minutes straight. Screaming, yelling.
I mean, if you're a hockey fan, I've always said hockey is like a niche sport.
And PPG Paints Arena is pretty dope. I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, when I tell you that that this game started, so they played the Philadelphia Flyers in what was it's a rivalry game. I mean, dude, this goes on and on and on. It was amazing. But they were behind 4-2. Philadelphia scored on them. It was 4-2. Late in the third period, these guys come back and score. What?
We got a new person. Is this a new person, or do you know this person, John? Fazil.
Yeah, Fazil. He's a 49er fan.
Well, congratulations, Fazil. This is the first time I've seen you on the chat, so welcome.
Yeah, man, he's a good dude, man. Great dude. But anyway, so they fell behind in the third period, and they came back to score. It was like 6 minutes, 30 seconds. Boom. They score, right? Probably, I think it was less than 2 minutes later, they tie it up in the last minute and some change, right? Going to overtime. Now it's 3-on-3 in overtime. Penguins take the win, bro. It was insane. I mean, it was insane. I got to tell you, if you haven't been to a hockey game, you need to go to a hockey game. I don't give a damn what game, just any hockey game. Just go to a hockey game. It's a lot of fun. It's great fun.
I mean, I always figured it would be because there's constant action. The game doesn't really stop.
Oh my God, bro, it's insane.
The thirds, and yeah, you're probably watching it in person. You can actually like see the puck and see scoring actually.
Yes. You know, the crazy thing about a hockey game,
when they bash into the things, it's almost like you feel it a little bit. You know, you can't.
Oh my God, you hear it.
You can't get on TV.
No, not at all, dude. The energy in a hockey game is intense. It's electric, bro. I can't even describe it. You know, I'm not a fucking crazy hockey fan. I don't even own a hockey jersey, but it was intense, bro. We only live an hour away from PPG, so take advantage. You know what I'm saying? Bro, we got to go. We've got to go to a hockey game. It's so much fun, bro. It's like, like it's just, it's a lot of fun. I really can't explain it to you, man. I loved it. It was awesome. Being there for Sidney Crosby's 500th career goal was an even bigger experience, right? History, right? Just a great time. Hockey is fun. You guys got to go to a game. It's a lot of fun. Even if you don't understand what's happening, there is so much to enjoy, dude. Take it in. It's a blast.
Yeah. It is 1:50 in the morning.
It is 1:50 in the morning. All All right. Final thoughts, bro. Let's get out of here.
I don't have any final thoughts. It's 1:50 in the morning. It's fucking late.
It is late. If you stuck it out with us for the full 2 hours and 30 minutes, you are insane. We are not that entertaining and we are not fun. But we appreciate you guys so much for hanging out.
49 Chanel coming in the end. Woo!
Peace out, fam. You guys take care, stay safe, and we'll be back. I don't know when we'll be back. Probably next week sometime. What are we bury Monday night?
Maybe Monday, maybe later. We'll see we'll see where Tony is at that point. If he's able to do it Monday, then we'll do it Monday.
All right, we'll knock it out. Fam,
If
thank
not,
you for joining
maybe
us.
next week.
Family, thank you for joining us. We appreciated it. It's been a long night. Thanks for listening to us babble on. Cheers from the Locker Room Rant. Peace. Hold on, let me do this right. Let me do this right, bro. I don't think I'm doing it right. Hold on. Fuck it. Later, fam.